Without a EOCF, I think the world would be, honestly, I think it would be a darker, colder place.
If my family didn't have EOCF, my children wouldn't be as well-rounded as they truly are. They have grown in the ways of speech, they've grown in the ways of social emotional regulation, of just learning how to do simple things like share.
My son was diagnosed with a speech delay, and I felt I had no support. I didn't know where to go. Nobody had answers. So when I did reach out to EOCF and start talking with them, it finally was a place that gave us answers and gave us a safe place to take our son. So before Tristan was in EOCF, at home, we had a hard time communicating with him, and he would get frustrated because we didn't understand what he wanted. He would do a lot of pulling my hand. He would also draw pictures in the carpet to try and get his point across. And then as a parent, you're trying to do everything you can to find out what he needs, and then you miss the mark, and there's frustration and crying and tantrums, and you're second guessing yourself as a parent. I felt very lost. And Tristan I felt like he wasn't having the happy childhood that you dream for your kid to have.
So we found out that my son had a speech delay pretty early on. He would have a lot of yelling fits, a lot of tears because he wasn't able to tell us what he needed. It was really hard to see him not be able to play with kids, and we were just at the park because he couldn't tell them hey, do you want to play with me, or let's go do this, and have them kind of walk away and just not include him. I know that really hurt his feelings, that people weren't including him when he couldn't speak to them.
I had heard about EOCF through a friend of mine. My son at that time was still in diapers. He was nonverbal, and all the daycares around our area after COVID shut down, and most of them didn't come back. And then the ones that did required a 3-year-old to be potty trained, and he wasn't at the time, but EOCF said because of his IEP, we would qualify, and that's how we got into EOCF.
We got involved after we had our relationship with ESD 112 come to an end because we aged out of the program. They let us know about EOCF and about how they offer preschool, so we really thought that was going to be the most important thing for him to be able to do, to keep practicing his language and being around other kids his age.
Watching Tristan find his voice after attending EOCF was amazing. His first sentence was only 3 words, but I'll never forget them. We were at a park, and it was a sunny day, and the bees are out. He was trying to shoo them away, and he said, "Bee, go home." And my jaw dropped. I said, "You just said a sentence. You just strung 3 words together," which he had never done before. A smile on my face, my jaw dropped, my heart rate went up, and I was just so excited that we could finally start hearing his voice and overcoming our communication struggles.
It's incredibly fulfilling as a teacher to see them, to see their joy, their excitement. It makes me happy. I get excited for them. I did cry the first time I was able to help a child learn to speak. There was a little boy who was nonverbal, and I just started spending more time with him and helping him talk. I started teaching him small signs, and one day his mom came in and she said, "He said teacher." She said, "I don't even care that teacher was his first word, but he's talking. He said teacher." And I went home and cried after that. So, because it was huge. He went from not speaking at all to starting to speak in small, a couple words at a time, and then full sentences by the end of the program year.
When I knew that his speech was getting better and he was feeling more confident within himself, he would come home and be like, "Mama, my friend so-and-so, we did this." Or I was playing with this friend today. And it was more of him being included in things and him being invited to birthday parties and stuff like that. That just makes you feel good, knowing that other kids and other families want your child to be around you.
When they gain new skills, they get so excited. They're wanting to show everybody, "Teacher, look, I did it." And the joy is contagious.
I see him in sports and how confident he is talking to his peers, talking to adults, asking for help with his words and not just gestures and anger behind not being able to tell us what he needed.
If we had never found EOCF, I honestly believe that we would be having major behavioral issues at home. It's one of those things that until you're in it, you don't really understand what goes on and the hard work that the teachers put in, that the program puts in to help support not just the kiddo, but also the whole family, it really opened my eyes, and it made me want to fight for this program because it works. It made my son find his voice.